Hi there, this is Shirley Osborne. I am the director here at Club Afia, and Club Afia, as you know, is the club for women where there are no borders, and there are no borders because Club Afia, our goal, our mission, our vision is to reach out to and reach women on every continent, which is easy enough, but also reach out to and reach women in every country, every city, every town, every village, and every home where there's a woman. That's a big goal. So, anyhow, welcome to day 4 of my 30-day sea challenge for Club Afia. And it's getting interesting. I mean, it's just getting really interesting. This day 4, today is a Monday. I started on Friday, so we did Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and today's Monday. Sorry, today's Monday where I am in the world, and it's still hazy and overcast because we still have the Sahara dust. It's just everywhere. You can't even see the sea from here. I can't even show the views because there's nothing to show except Sahara dust. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for continuing with me on this journey. Today, my focus is on serving, being in service, being in contribution, because one of the things that I'm clear about is that when one woman succeeds, for each woman who succeeds, all women win. Yeah? So my work has always been about, I've worked with women, I've written for women, I have trained women, I have worked in social services with young women who are growing up to be adult and trying to find their way, help women figure out pathways to get back on their feet and so on. And just going to help women find their way, figure out what gifts and talents and power they come with. And I believe that women have power. I believe that women as a group, I believe in the power of women. And I believe in the power of women to improve the world. Yes? So I have spent my life supporting women and serving women, and that's what I bring to Club Afia. Club Afia is to be a space that serves women, that also helps women serve the world. We serve women by providing a space, an additional space for them to serve the world, for them to be in contribution, in service to the world. In these last 3 to 6 months, 6 months, if you begin with China in December, in these last 6 months, the whole of this year 2020, the world has been cycling through change, huge, massive change that has brought with it, economic issues, economic problems, social issues, and all began with health issues. Now, there are people who say that this was caused by other things, but that's another story. The point is that we are in a place now where we are dealing with this huge health crisis, this COVID-19 crisis. It is just intent on sweeping the world. There are indigenous people in the Amazon forest who are dying, who are suffering the effects of COVID-19. It is reaching people all over the globe. The reality is that we have no idea how this is going to end. We have no idea what these changes are ultimately going to turn out to be. But they have already turned so much upside down that we can be absolutely certain that in any case, the change has already been wrought. We have already had much of the change. And so what we have to do now is figure out how we are going to manage in this new dispensation, how we are going to fit into the world, what our place is as individuals specifically, and in groups, how we navigate, how we prepare our families, for example, to navigate this new world, how we're going to work. We're working differently already. I'm doing this online from the Caribbean. I live a lot of, I've spent a lot of years in the United States and in Europe and in England and so on, and I've traveled a lot around the world. And that's not going to be, there's not going to be much of that going on anytime soon. We are clear about that. So, how we work and how we interact with one another is something we have to figure out how to do so that we remain effective, we remain connected, so that we get done the things that need to be done so that we can live meaningful lives. And the idea of being in service, obviously that too changes. You know, up until recently, my my way of serving women was to meet with women. You spend time with people, you meet them physically, and you sit with them or walk with them in a room, wherever they might happen to be in the world. You get on a plane and you go. That's not going to be happening again anytime soon. But we still have the same needs and requirements as we had before, plus these new ones that are coming with this new world that we're moving into. And so what we each have to do is figure out how to continue to be in service, how to continue to offer our service to the world, but how to do it differently now. And so, whereas I won't be able to be moving around the world and meeting people so much anymore, it doesn't mean I can't do it. It just means that we do it differently. It just means that we do it differently. And so, I have a sister who is a doctor. She's a medical doctor, and she has had to be figuring out how to meet her patients. Her patients are children. She's a pediatrician, and she has been having to figure out how to serve her patients. I mean, you go to the doctor touches you, takes your clothes off, checks your heart and your lungs, and looks in your ears and eyes and so on, up close. Now, with this disease that's threatening us all, that has had to be reconsidered. People who teachers have also had to are having to figure out how to do that differently. Students are having to figure out how to learn without the customary classroom environment where you get to interact with one another and exchange not just academics, but life skills, social skills. So every single thing, every single aspect of our lives is being impacted by how we're having to live now. And so being in service to the world for me right now means being intentional about figuring out how to do that, where to fit in, how to offer what we come with. And actually, in many ways now, also figuring out what it is that we do come with. What it is that we do come with. Because a lot of the time, you get to figure things out about yourself on the basis of, or as a consequence of, your interactions with people. And now our interactions are going to be very different, are being already very different. And what I want to, what I think is really critical is that we find ways to ensure that the isolation that so many of us have been and are still being and are going to be forced to live with doesn't negatively impact our ability to serve the world, our ability to be in positive, helpful, meaningful relationships with other people. The other thing that's happening in this world right now, the fight against bigotry and racism, actually bodes well for our new way of being, because it's forcing us to look at one another differently, to look at other people in a different light, and see how, and finally get how all of us are important, are integral to all of the others of us. Yeah? And that is another way of that we can serve the world, by getting rid of those old, outdated, not useful, never were useful notions of superiority and inferiority amongst human beings, between males and females. So get rid of racism, and sexism and so many of those other isms, much of our world now is going to not be face to face. So how do we transmit? How do we do this service like this? How do we do that? Those questions we have to ask ourselves and figure out the answers to. And I am really delighted and proud that that's one of the things that we're offering with Club Afia, a space where we can continue to do that, where I can continue to be in service to you, and you can be in service to me and to other people. Because service, being in service, is about adding value to the world, giving something to the world that improves the world, that makes the world, even if it's just the space around you, a better place. Because even if you improve your home, it affects what happens outside, because the people in your home interact with people outside. Yes? So once we understand the broad and yet the focused nature of service, I think we'll be fine. And at Club Afia, we're going to be talking some more. We're going to be doing seminars and workshops and so on around all of these. So look out for those. And in the meantime, continue to walk with me through my 30-day C challenge. We're just kind of working through the knots at the moment. Yeah? It's going to get even more exciting as we go. Because as I learn and as you feed stuff back to me about what I'm putting out, then I get to improve, and that improves what I put out, and we go a nice, powerful, good circle where things just keep getting better. We spiral upwards, things get better and better and better. I thank you very much for having spent this time with me, and I'm looking forward to day 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up to 30, and whatever comes after that. Just like we don't know what the world is going to look like once we come through these changes and upheavals. I have no idea what I'm going to be like once I've done these 30 days, because so very often we are surprised when we set out to do these things. We start out with one intention, one set of goals, and then all kinds of other things come up, and I'm actually quite looking forward to them. Kind of slightly scared, but still looking forward to them, and I'm really honored and grateful that you are walking with me. Thank you very, very much. Have yourselves a wonderful day, evening, and a lovely week, and see you on day 5.